Hi, welcome to another episode of 365 Unplugged. I am Loryan Strant, joined as always by the beautiful
Alistair Pugin, coming to you from a rainy Cape Town. I'm sitting
Can't
in,
really tell, thanks to
an
the
office.
blur, but it's a bit warm where I am.
It is a bit warm. I don't have that fancy features that you have.
But well, that's the thing. So maybe we can talk about that fancy feature. So what was my topic is going to be backgrounds.
I don't understand how that there's any value in talking to our audience about
Going to space.
custom backgrounds. There's no value in that, Loryan.
But I think that's the point, is how professional is that? Anyway, back to hell. Your topic is?
I want to talk about Flow being enterprise ready.
Oh, yes. And well, certainly enterprise priced. But we might talk more about that.
Well, it's now really enterprise ready, right? Since it's being enterprise priced, which has spurred my conversation. And I know that there are going to be people out there that are going to hate me. So Flowbro, John Levert, and Dr. Flow Surge is going to hate me, and whoever else likes Flow. They are definitely going to dislike me for what I have to say about Flow or my opinion about Flow.
If you get to say it at all. So let's see how we go.
All right. So what are we doing? Okay.
Paper, rock, scissors.
So, yeah.
Yep. Ready?
Yeah.
One.
What? Two.
Three. With scissors. Try again.
Okay.
One. 2, 3. That's such a bad lag. All right. Rock wins.
But that's the crazy part, right?
There's a delay down here in hell. We don't have the best bandwidth.
Yeah. Even if we try to fake it, we can't because there's no syncing.
True.
So, all right. So is
Flo,
it my
let's
turn?
talk about it.
Yes. So Matt Wade, bless him, wrote a really decent article on over at Jump to 365 on Medium Publication about one of the announcements from Inspire this year. And there's some updates coming to the Power Platform licensing, which is really more.
Messenger, got to go through some Tinder there on your phone.
No, well, let's see if I can do this. It's the actual blog. Ooh, look at that. There's no depth of field with the camera. So it's really talking about talking about the announcement around the new Flow pricing plans or the Power Platform pricing plans or whatever term they're using to describe Flow this week, because it changes every third week. Now, there's two conversations. One, is Flow enterprise ready? And I think that's been a conversation, a topic for debate since the beginning of time. I've offended people on Twitter probably about 2.5, 3 years ago when I asked this exact same question. And Serge jumped in, Flow Bro. I don't think he was around. He wasn't born yet because he's that young. And it was really about, is Flow enterprise ready? So can you take Microsoft Flow and compare it to a K2 or a Webcon or a Skybo or a Nintex? Yeah, and a Nintex. And for the longest time, Flow was great because it was cheaper. And people would opt for going for Flow because you had different pricing plans and it was based on instantiations of a workflow. Right? So you got the free version, you got the version for the amount of, let me open this a bit more. So the free version is the one that we exposed to. And then you've got the version for 2,000 instantiations and 4,500 and then 15,000 instantiations, right? And they all licensed that way. So there's new licenses coming through now where it's per user as well. So you're paying per user, and it's based on what they call the daily API limit, like with Twitter and using Hootsuite and TweetDeck, the amount of API calls you could make in a day. It's also licensed that way. So some of the technical sides behind the licenses have changed. But flow for me, I mean, I come from an Intex BPM background and working with tools like Open Text Content Server, where the base workflow platform is infinitely superior to anything that Microsoft or Microsoft's third-party vendors have produced in the last 20 years. And I'm talking about LiveLink 9.1, 9.2. Their workflow experience is much better. The way you build workflows is much more simplistic. It's more based on what Microsoft tried to do with using Visio to build workflows. So where are we in today's world when it comes to that? Because you can still build SharePoint Designer workflows. There's a workflow manager. There's a new workflow manager product being released. So you can still do that. Now, as much as Flowbro and everyone else is going to go, but you can build enterprise state machine workflows. You can do in Flow. It's a bit cumbersome. It's not as simplistic as a product like Nintex is. And for the last year and a half, we've been shouting at Nintex, and all the Nintex partners have been screaming at Nintex saying, change your pricing model. They just didn't want to listen to us. But today, if you look at the pricing model, right, for Flow, it's $15 per user per month, right? Whereas Nintex is based on the, hey?
What does that give you?
The minimum purpose, yeah, so the standalone plans, if I talk about standalone plans, right? You need 20 user licenses. It's the minimum purchase. And it's $15 per month. So what is that?
Is that what's included in, let's say, an Office 365 E1, E3, or E5? Or is that on top
that's
of
a standard,
Office 365?
That's the standalone plan. If you just bought Flow today.
Okay.
So let's compare it that way, right? You've got Nintex Workflow Cloud, which is not dependent on Office 365, and you've got Microsoft Flow, which is a standalone plan, right?
Okay.
So that's $300, right, per month.
Okay.
For 5 workflows.
For what?
Well, number of flows, hold on, I'm reading this. Number of flows, unlimited flows per month, right?
Okay.
And then if you buy 5 flows, it works out to $500 a month. So I don't mind the 15 times 20 to give you a number and you got unlimited flows. But if you had to buy 5 flows, if you ran 5 flows a month, right, which is strange the way, so unlimited users,
right,
and you buy 5 flows a month, like the way Nintex licenses their model right now.
Okay.
That works out to $6,000 a year. Yeah, for 5 workflows a month.
But those 5 workflows, if we're talking about, so we're talking about $100 per workflow, what I would want is that unlimited runs per workflow.
Yeah, so unlimited instantiation.
Well, in theory, if you think about it from a cost perspective.
Well, it's difficult to say that because you can say unlimited runs, instantiations. However, there's a daily API request of 75,000 instantiations. And the API thing is all kinds of confusing.
Okay.
So the amount of calls it can make in a day. So there are some limitations. So be wary that there is some issues around it.
So from a business perspective, what we're looking at here though is let's say 75,000 is an acceptable limit per day. If that flow saves me $100 in human cost, then it's worth its weight. I think though what I'm seeing here is there's a bit of this Power Platform and these other business apps are starting to get a little bit confusing because they kind of seem like they're part of Office 365, but they're very quickly emerging that they're not part of Office 365. And we're going from what used to be a flat per user per month pricing to per user per month plus this, plus this, plus this. Because you look at Forms Pro, for example, you know, that's $100, what is it, per user per year. And then I think there's an extra level on top of that. So, and what's frustrating is then in Forms Pro, you had forms and quizzes, but with Forms Pro, they add surveys. Like, well, my forms were surveys, just you're using that terminology now. Kind of we're getting like teams and groups. But that's so I think that the challenge we have here is, okay, for starters, this pricing seems like it almost came out of nowhere. from the end user perspective or end customer perspective.
Yeah.
But now it makes it, much more complex to calculate how much your Office 365 subscription or your Power Platform subscription is going to cost you.
Yeah.
So the question I asked to you then, is this a case? Do you think this was accidental in that Microsoft put all this stuff out there, some people picked it up, went really, crazy with it, and then they went, ooh, crap, that's costing us a lot of money in the back end to power. We better charge people, kind of like the internal use rights. But won't get into that today. Or do you think it was deliberate from the outset, where it was almost like a freemium model, like, hey, let's bait people into this kind of free flow tool, and then we're going to, bait and switch and swap them to a high price?
That's a great question, Loryan. Thank you for asking that. I've always wanted to say that. So think about it. That's all the time we have today. Yeah, when Office 365 started, the first premium application that they had there was Power BI, right?
Absolutely.
So look at the way So look at the way they built Power BI all the way through. So if you compare Power Apps and Flow, they've got a data connection gateway, right, which is Power BI. Same concept, right? You want to connect to an external source, use the same process. Look at the licensing model. Flow is now adopting the same licensing model as Power BI Pro. So if you want to add to your existing Office 365 subscription, you go, there's the free version, right?
Or the included
so you get Flow. Well, you get the free version, which gives you a 750 instantiations of a workflow per month, and that's free. That's the one we all touch. Then you get the Flow for Office 365, which there is weirdly no cost, but you get it ups it to 2,000 instantiations, so you can run 2,000 workflows, right? Then Flow Plan 1 is 4,500 workflows, and you're paying $5 per user per month. And Flow Plan 2 gives you 15,000 workflows or 15,000 instantiations, which they don't qualify yet, for $15 a month per user. And I'm assuming it comes with more features. So the types of external data that you can connect to. I don't understand their licensing model, because does that mean I can create 10,000 workflows? Because, it's initiated per user. So one user can have 5,000 individual flows running.
So here's the question then, or here's a question, not the question. Do you think that there will be pushback now from clients who have been pushing towards using Microsoft Flow over your Nintex K2s? You think people now start to push back?
I do. What it makes now is, for me as a pro Nintex user, right? Because I've always loved Nintex. I was a Nintex VTE for about 2 or 3 years. I come from Nintex on-prem. They struggled with the Nintex Workflow Cloud because of the feature parity between what you got on-prem, and they're finally at a stage now where the product is pretty much the same sort of feature parity. So you get that richness in Nintex Workflow Cloud. You also get a great forms engine out of the box with Nintex Workflow, right? So for me, it now becomes a really, really, really compelling conversation to have with customers to say, you've moved to Office 365. You don't want to spend that license at $7,500, whatever Nintex costs for 5 workflows with unlimited forms or 25 forms, and you get all the cool stuff with it. It's now a compelling conversation to have with a customer to say, you want enterprise-grade workflow, not something that started as a competitor to IFTTT. You're still going to have to pay for Flow Plan 1 or Flow Plan 2. Why not take that money and actually go and spend that on Nintex? Because now it's closer, right? Even if you go and you buy, and what we wanted from Nintex was sell us 1 workflow at a time. Don't sell it to us in 5 workflow pack. That 5 workflow pack now from Nintex, the existing license model, is magic. Because I can go, well, Flow Plan 2 or 5 workflows for Flow standalone, it's going to cost me $500 a month. That's $6,000 a year. That is, now I go, well, here's Nintex, right? You'll get 5 workflows. I think it's $7,500 a year. Or it's actually a little bit cheaper. I must check the model. It depends on what you want. And now all of a sudden, Nintex, I will not sell Flow. I will not tell a customer to use Flow if they're going to want to use enterprise-level features. I will tell a customer, go buy Nintex. Because you're not going to hit...
Ryan Cook will be very happy to hear that.
Except he's at Lifestyles now.
He still owns good chunks of Nintex.
Does he? Because he went to Hyperfish and that got sold to Lifestyles.
Yeah, but you can still own shares in your former company while doing something else.
True. But I really do think that Microsoft never sold Workflow Manager, okay, which was the worst product in the history of products. And they never sold SharePoint Designer Workflows. Right. People actually built, like I love SharePoint, the workflow expansion plugin that you got from Christian Grisla, if I can pronounce his name properly, Grisna. And that helped us build workflows inside of SharePoint Designer. So Christina Wheeler, Wanda Laura, all of them built amazing enterprise-grade workflows, even though SharePoint Designer workflow was stupid. It was a dumb way to, right? You had to build logic into the actual form for this thing to do stuff. And that's why companies like Nintex exist today, because they've been able to build enterprise-grade workflow. Microsoft moving to Power Apps and Flow. Flow, it never excited me. There's cool stuff you can do with it, granted. And when you start talking about low-code, no-code, enterprise workflow, Nintex is the place to be, not Flow. And that's it for me. And I think this is the second nail in the coffin for customers to move to a third-party product like Nintex. Okay, well, not so much K2, but Nintex specifically to do enterprise-level workflows. And that's it.
Well, there we go. Let's see what how the words. Let's see how quickly you get sent down to hell for those kind of commentary, especially from the people you cautioned at the start of it.
Yeah.
All right. Well, with that, what we'll do is we'll put a link to Matt Wade's blog here so that people can see what it's been referred to. And yeah, we'll come back and talk about something else in a couple of weeks. We might even be live.
If you enjoyed this session, please hit the subscribe button, click on the bell to follow us, smash it, tag it, whatever you want to do with it, but keep up to date with what we're talking about. Thank you very much.
You just sounded like a YouTube gamer. Hey everybody, what's up? It's Alistair here. Don't forget to like and subscribe.
Oh, that's coming. I've got my camera and everything, so my depth of field's going to be epic.
All right, lovely. We'll end it there. Goodbye, everybody.
Good. Bye.